Hey, good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a blessed day. Sunday, I was kind of in a hurry, so I couldn't read the whole book, but I want to start from here again. This one, it's the second Baruch, or the book of the Apocalypse of Baruch, the son of Neriah. All right, so this is where I left off. All right, this is basically it's been prophesied that Israel is going to be judged, and Baruch is receiving words from God, and so this is where we left off. Now, regarding everything that is, it is that I judge, but do not you take counsel in your soul regarding these things, nor afflict thyself because of those which have been. For now it is the consummation of time that should be considered, whether of business or of prosperity or of shame, and not the beginning thereof. Because if a man be prospered, here on a second, let me get this out. Make sure everybody knows where I'm at with this thing. Because if a man be prospered in his beginnings and shamefully entreated in his old age, he forgets all the prosperity that he had. And again, if a man is shamefully entreated in his beginnings and at the end is prospered, he remembers not again his evil entreatment. And again, hearken, though each one were prospered all the time from the day on which death was decreed against those who transgress, and his end was destroyed, in vain would have been everything. Zion has been taken away to hasten the advent of the judgment. Therefore, behold, the days come, and the time shall hasten more than the former, and the seasons shall speed on more than those that are past, and the years shall pass more quickly than the present years. Therefore have I now taken away Zion, that I may the more speedily visit the world in its season. Now therefore hold fast in your heart everything that I command you, and seal it in the recess of your mind. And then I will show you the judgment of my might, and my ways which are unsearchable. Go therefore and sanctify thyself 7 days, and eat no bread, nor drink water, nor speak to anyone. And afterwards come to that place, and I will reveal myself to you, and speak true things with you. And I will give you commandment regarding the method of the times, for they are coming, and tarry not. That's basically God talking to Baruch. Okay, so fast to 7 days, Baruch's prayer, God answered the prayer of Baruch, the son of Neriah. And I went there and sat in the valley of Kidron, in a cave of the earth, and I sanctified my soul there. And I ate no bread, yet I was not hungry, and I drank no water, yet I thirst not. And I was there till the 7th day, and he commanded me, and afterwards I came to that place where he had spoken with me. And it came to pass at sunset that my soul took much thought. And I began to speak in the presence of the Mighty One, and said, O you that have made the earth, hear me, that have fixed the firmament by the word, and have made firm the height of the heaven by the Spirit, that have called from the beginning of the world that which did not yet exist, and they obey you. You that have commanded the air by your nod, and have seen those things which are to be as those things which you are doing. You that rule with great thought, the hosts that stand before you, also the countless holy beings, which you did make from the beginning of flame and fire, which stand around your throne, you rule with indignation. To you only does this belong, that you should do forthwith whatsoever you do wish. Who causes the drops of rain to rain by number upon the earth, and alone knows the consummation of the times before they come. Have respect unto my prayer, for you alone are able to sustain all who are, and all those who have passed away, and those who are to be, those who sin, and those who are to righteous, being past finding out. For you alone do live immortal and past finding out, and know the number of mankind. And if in time many have sinned, yet others not a few have been righteous. This is Baruch's appreciation of his life. You know where you preserve the end of those who have sinned, or the consummation of those who have been righteous. For if there were this life only, which belongs to all men, nothing could be more bitter than this. For of what profit is strength that turns to sickness, or fullness of food that turns to famine, or beauty that turns to ugliness? For the nature of man is always changeable. For what we were formerly, now we are no longer are, and what we now are, we shall not afterwards remain. For if a consummation had not been prepared for it all, in vain would have been their beginning. But regarding everything that comes from you, do you inform me, and regarding everything about which I ask you, do you enlighten me? All right, Baruch prays to God to hasten the judgment and fulfill his promise. How long will that which is corruptible remain, and how long will the time of mortals be prospered? And until what time will those who transgress in the world be polluted with much wickedness? Command therefore in mercy, and accomplish all that you said as you wouldst bring, that your might be made known to those who think that your long suffering is weakness, and show to those who know not that everything that has befallen us in our city until now has been according to the long suffering of your power. Because on account of your name you have called us a beloved people. Bring to an end, therefore, henceforth mortality, and reprove accordingly the angel of death, and let your glory appear, and let the might of your beauty be known, and let Sheol be sealed, so that from this time forward it may not receive the dead, and let the treasuries of souls restore those which are enclosed in them. For there have been many years like those that are desolate from the days of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and of all those who are like them, who sleep in the earth, on whose account you did say that you had created the world. And now quickly show your glory, and do not defer what has been promised by you. And when I had completed the words of this prayer, I was greatly weakened. All right, so this is God's reply to Baruch's prayer. He will fulfill his promise. Time needed for his accomplishment. Things must be judged in the light of their consummation till all souls are born. The end cannot come. All right, so this is chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that, lo, the heavens were opened, and I saw, and power was given to me, and a voice was bared from on high, and it said unto me, Baruch, Baruch, why are you troubled? He who travels by a road, but does not complete it, or who departs by the sea, but does not arrive at the port, can he be comforted? Or who he promises to give a present to another, but does not fulfill it, is it not robbery? Or he who sows the earth, but does not reap its fruit in its season, does he not lose everything? Or he who plants a plant unless it grows till the time suitable to it, does he who planted it expect to receive fruit from it? Or a woman who has conceived, if she bring forth untimely, does she not assuredly slay her infant? Or he who builds a house, if he does not roof it and complete it, can it be called a house? Tell me that first. And I answered and said, No so, O Lord, my Lord. And he answered and said unto me, Why therefore are you troubled about that which you know not? And why are you ill at ease about things in which you are ignorant? For as you have not forgotten the people who now are, and those who have passed away, so I remember those who are appointed to come. Because when Adam sinned, and death was decreed against those who should be born, then the multitude of those who should be born was numbered, and for that number a place was prepared, while the living might dwell, and the dead might be guarded. Before, therefore, the number aforesaid is fulfilled, the creature will not live again, for my spirit is the creator of life, and Sheol will receive the dead. And again, it is given to you to hear what things are to come after these times. For truly my redemption has drawn nigh, and is not far distant as aforetime. The coming judgment, chapter 24. For behold, the days come, and the book shall be opened, in which are written the sins of all those who have sinned, and again also the treasuries in which the righteousness of all those who have been righteous in creation is gathered. For it shall come to pass at that time that you shall see, and many that are with you, the long suffering of the Most High, which has been throughout all generations, who has been long suffering towards all who are born, not respecter of persons, alike those who sin and those who are righteous. And I answered and said, But behold, O Lord, no one knows the number of those things which have passed, nor yet of those things which are to come. For I know indeed that which has befallen us, but what will happen to our enemies I know not, and when you will visit your works. 26, sign of the covenant. Sign of the coming judgment. 25, 26. And he answered and said unto me, You too shall be preserved till that time, till that sign which the Most High will work for the inhabitants of the earth in the end of days. This therefore shall be the sign, when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations. Wow. There shall be a sign when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations. And again, when they shall fall into great torments, and it will come to pass when they say in their thoughts by reason of their much tribulation, the mighty one does no longer remember the earth. Yes, it will come to pass when they abandon hope that the time will then awake. And I answered and said, will that tribulation which is to be continue a long time, and will that necessity embrace many years? Chapter 26 to 30. These are the 12 woes that are come upon the earth, the Messiah and the temporary messianic kingdom. Chapter 27. And he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts is that time divided, and each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the beginning of commotions, and in the second part, there shall be slayings of the great ones, and in the third part, the fall of many by death. The fourth part, the sending of the sword, and in the fifth part, famine and the withholding of rain, which we're getting close to right now. And in the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors. 8 says wanting. 9, and in the eighth part of a multitude of the specters and attacks of the Shadim, Shedim. 10, and in the ninth part of the fall of fire, and in the 10th part, rapine and much oppression, and in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity, and in the 12th part, confusion from the mingling together of all those aforesaid. For these parts of that time are reserved, and shall be mingled one with another, and minister one to another. For some shall leave out some of their own, and receive in its stead from others, and some complete their own, and that of others, so that those may not understand who are upon the earth in those days, that this is the consummation of the times. Nevertheless, whoever understands shall be wise, for the measure and reckoning of that time are 2 parts a week of 7 weeks. Okay, so for the measure and reckoning of that time are 2 parts, a week of 7 weeks. And I answered and said, it is good for a man to come and behold, but it is better that he shall not come lest he fall. But I will say this also, will he who is incorruptible despise those things which are corruptible? And whatever befalls in the case of those things which are corruptible, so that he might look only to those things which are not corruptible. But if, O Lord Yahuwah, those things shall assuredly come to pass, which you have foretold to me, so do you show this also unto me, if indeed I have found grace in your sight? Is it in one place or in one of the parts of the earth that those things are come to pass, or will the whole earth experience them? Good question. And he answered and said unto me, whatever will then befall the whole earth. Therefore all who live will experience them. For at that time I will protect only those, for that time I will only protect only those who are found in those self-same days in this land. And it shall come to pass, when all is accomplished that was to come to pass in those parts, that the Messiah shall then begin to be revealed. And the moth shall be revealed from his place, and Leviathan shall ascend from the sea, those 2 great monsters which I created on the 5th day of creation, and shall have kept until that time, and then they shall be for food for all that are left. The earth also shall yield its fruit 10,000-fold, and on each vine there shall be 1,000 branches, and each branch shall produce 1,000 clusters, and each cluster produce 1,000 grapes, and each grape produce a core of wine. Wow. And those who have hungered shall rejoice. Moreover, also, they shall behold marvels every day. For winds shall go forth from before me to bring every morning the fragrance of aromatic fruits, and at the close of the day, clouds distilling the dew of health. And it shall come to pass at that self same time, that the treasury of manna shall again descend from on high, and they will eat of it in those years, because these are those who have come to the consummation of time. And it shall come to pass after these things, when the time of the advent of the Messiah is fulfilled, that he shall return in glory. All right, chapter 30, the resurrection. Then all who have fallen asleep in hope of him shall rise again. And it shall come to pass at that time that the treasuries will be opened, in which is preserved the number of the souls of the righteous. And they shall come forth. And a multitude of souls shall be seen together in one assemblage of one thought, and the first shall rejoice, and the last shall not be grieved. For they know that the time has come, of which it is said, that it is the consummation of the times. But the souls of the wicked, when they behold all these things, shall then waste away the more. For they shall know that their torment has come, and their perdition has arrived. 31 to 33. Baruch exhorts the people to prepare themselves for worse evils. Okay, chapter 31. And it came to pass after these things, that I went to the people and said unto them, Assemble unto me all your elders, and I will speak words unto them. And they all assembled in the valley of the Kidron. And I answered and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, and I will speak to you. And give ear, O seed of Jacob, and I will instruct you. Forget not Zion, but hold in remembrance the anguish of Jerusalem. For lo, the days come, when everything that is shall become the prey of corruption, and be as though it had not been. But as for you, if you prepare your hearts so as to sow in them the fruits of the law, it shall protect you in that time in which the mighty one is to shake the whole creation. Because after a little time, the building of Zion will be shaken in order that it may be built again. But that building will not remain, but will again after a time be rooted out, and will remain desolate until the time. And afterwards it must be renewed in glory and perfected forevermore. Therefore, we should not be distressed so much over the evil which has now come as over that which is still to be. For there will be a greater trial than these two tribulations, when the mighty one will renew his creation. And now do not draw near to me for a few days, nor seek me till I come to you. And it came to pass, when I had spoken to them all these words, that I, Baruch, went my way, and when the people saw me setting out, they lifted up their voice and lamented and said, To where are you departing from us, Baruch? And you are forsaking us as a father who forsakes his orphan children and departs from them. Are these the commandments are these the commands which your companion Jeremiah the prophet commanded you, and said unto you, Look to this people till I go and make ready the rest of the brethren in Babylon, against whom has gone forth the sentence that they should be led into captivity. And now if you also forsake us, it were good for us all to die before you, and then that you should withdraw from us. All right, chapter 34, Lament of Baruch. And I answered and said unto the people, Far be it from me to forsake you or to withdraw from you, but I will only go unto the Holy of Holies to inquire of the Mighty One concerning you and concerning Zion. If in some respect I should receive more illumination, and after these things I will return to you. And I, Baruch, went to the holy place and sat down upon the ruins and wept and said, Oh, that mine eyes were springs, and my eyelids a fount of tears. For how shall I lament for Zion, and how shall I mourn for Jerusalem? Because in that place where I am now prostrate, of old the high priest offered holy sacrifices, and placed therein an incense of fragrant odors. But now our glorying has been made into dust, and the desire of our soul into sand. Chapter 36, 37. The vision of the forest, the vine, the fountain, and the cedar. And when I had said these things, I fell asleep there, and I saw a vision in the night. And lo, a forest of trees planted on the plain, and lofty and rugged rock mountains surrounded it. And that forest occupied much space, and lo, over against it arose a vine. There's a lot here, guys. And from under it there went forth a fountain peacefully. Now that fountain came to the forest, and was stirred into great waves. And those waves submerged that forest, and suddenly they rooted out the greater part of that forest, and overthrew all the mountains which were round about it. And the height of the forest began to be made low, and the top of the mountains was made low, and that fountain prevailed greatly, so that it left nothing of that great forest save one cedar only. Also, when it had cast it down and had destroyed and rooted out the greater part of that forest, so that nothing was left of it, nor could its place be recognized. Then that vine began to come, with the fountain in peace and great tranquility, and it came to a place which was not far from that cedar. And they brought the cedar which had been cast down to it. And I beheld, and lo, that vine opened his mouth and spoke and said to that cedar, Art you not that cedar which was left of the forest of wickedness, and by whose means wickedness persisted, and was wrought all those years, and goodness never? And you kept conquering that which was not yours, and to that which was yours you did never show compassion. And you did keep extending your power over those who were far from you. And those who drew near you, you did hold fast in the toils of your wickedness. And you did uplift them thyself always as one that could not be rooted out. But, there's always a but. But now your time has sped, and your hour is come. Do you also therefore depart, O cedar, after the forest, which departed before you, and became dust with it? And let your ashes be mingled together. And now recline in anguish, and rest in torment till your last time come, in which you will come again, and be tormented still more. And after these things I saw that cedar burning, and the vine growing, itself and all around it, the plain full of unfading flowers, and I indeed awoke up and arose. All right. So now we got chapter 38 through 40, interpretation of the vision. And I prayed and said, O Lord. Okay. So he prayed, and he said, O Lord, my God, Yahuwah, Yahweh, the great I am, you do always enlighten those who are led by understanding. Your law is life, and your wisdom is right guidance. Make known to me, therefore, the interpretation of this vision, for you know that my soul has always walked in your law, and from my earliest days I departed not from your wisdom. And he answered and said to me, Baruch, this is the interpretation of the vision which you have seen. As you have seen the great forest which was lofty and rugged mountains surrounded, this is the word. Behold, the days come, and this kingdom will be destroyed, which was once destroyed Zion. And this kingdom will be destroyed, which once destroyed Zion, and it will be subjected to that which comes after it. Moreover, that also again after a time will be destroyed, and another, a third will arise, and that also will have dominion for its time, and will be destroyed. And after these things a fourth kingdom will arise, whose power will be harsh and evil far beyond those which were before it. And it will rule many times as the forest on the plain, and it will hold fast 4 times, and will exalt itself more than the cedars of Lebanon. And by it the truth will be hidden, and all those who are polluted with iniquity will flee to it, as evil beasts flee and creep into the forest. And it will come to pass when the time of its consummation that it shall fall has approached. Then the principate of my Messiah will be revealed, which is like the fountain and the vine. And when it is revealed, it will root out the multitude of its host. And as touching that which you have seen, the lofty cedar which was left of the forest, and the fact that the vine spoke those words with it which you did hear, this is the word. The last leader of that time will be left alive, when the multitude of his hosts will be put to the sword, and he will be bound, and they will take him up to Mount Zion, and my Messiah will convict him of all his impieties, and will gather and set before him all the works of his host. And afterwards he will put him to death, and protect the rest of my people, which shall be found in the place which I have chosen. And his principate will stand forever, until the world of corruption is at an end, and until the times aforesaid are fulfilled. This is your vision, and this is his interpretation. As I said, this is the book, and this is the book is in the title. It's a really long name. So, all right. So this is chapter 41, 42, the destiny of the apostates and of the proselytes. And I answered and said, For whom and for how many shall these things be, or who will be worthy to live at that time? For I will speak before you everything that I think, and I will ask of you regarding those things which I meditate. For lo, I see many of your people who have withdrawn from your covenant, and cast from them the yoke of your law, See there? We need to follow the commandments. All right, but others again I have seen who have forsaken their vanity and fled for refuge beneath your wings. Amen. That's where we need to stay. What therefore will be to them, or how will the last time receive them? Or perhaps the time of these will assuredly be weighed, and as the beam inclines, will they be judged accordingly? And he answered and said to me, These things also will I show unto you. As for what you did say, to whom will these things be, and how many will they be? To those who have believed, there shall be the good which was spoken of aforetime, and to those who despise, there shall be the contrary of these things. And as for what you did say regarding those who have drawn near, and those who have withdrawn this in the word, as for those who were before subject and afterwards withdrew and mingled themselves with the seed of mingled peoples, the time of these was the former, and was accounted as something exalted. And as for those who before knew not, afterwards knew life, and mingled only with the seed of the people which had separated itself, the time of these is the latter, and is accounted as something exalted. And time shall succeed to time, and season to season. And one shall receive from another, and then with a view to the consummation shall everything be compared according to the measure of the times and the hours of the seasons. For corruption shall take those that belong to it, and life those that belong to it. And the dust shall be called, and there shall be said to it, give back that which is not yours, and raise up all that you have kept until its time. Chapter 43. Baruch told of his death, and bidden to give his last commandments to the people. Aye, but do thou, Baruch, direct your heart to that which has been said to you, understanding those things which have been shown to you. For there are many eternal consolations for you. For you shall depart from this place, and you shall pass from the regions which are now seen by you, and you shall forget whatever is corruptible, and shall not again recall those things which happen among mortals. Go therefore and command your people, and come to this place. And afterwards fast 7 days, and then I will come to you and speak with you. All right, chapter 44. Baruch tells the elders of his impending death, but encourages them to expect the consolation of Zion. And I, Baruch, went from thence and came to my people, and called my firstborn son, and the Geldelas, my friends, and 7 of the elders of the people, and said unto them, Behold, I go unto my fathers, according to the way of all the earth. But withdraw you not from the way of the law, but guard and admonish the people which remain, lest they withdraw from the commandments of the Mighty One. For you see that he whom we serve is just, and our Creator is no respecter of persons. And you see what has befallen Zion, and what has happened to Jerusalem. For the judgment of the Mighty One shall therefore be known, and his ways, which though past finding out, are right. For if you endure and preserve in his fear, and do not forget his law, the time shall change over you for good, and you shall see the consolation of Zion, because whatever is now is nothing, but that which shall be is very great. For everything that is corruptible shall pass away, and everything that dies shall depart, and all the present time shall be forgotten. Nor shall there be any remembrance of the present time, which is to follow the evils. For that which runs now runs into vanity, and that which prospers shall quickly fall and be humiliated. For that which is due be shall be the object of desire, and for that which comes afterwards shall we hope. For it is a time that passes not away, and the hour comes which abides forever, and the new world comes which does not turn to corruption. Those who depart to its blessedness, and has no mercy on those who depart to torment, and leads not to perdition those who live in it. For these are they who shall inherit that time which has been spoken of, and theirs is the inheritance of the promised land. These are they who have acquired for themselves treasures of wisdom, and with them are found stores of understanding, and from mercy have they now withdrawn. And the truth of the law have they preserved. For to them shall be given the world to come, but the dwelling of the rest, who are many, shall be in the fire. Do you therefore, so far as you are able, instruct the people, for that labor is ours. For if you teach them, you will quicken them. And my son and the elders of the people answered and said unto me, Has the mighty one humiliated us to such a degree as to take you from us quickly? And truly we shall be in darkness, and there should be no light to the people who are left. For where again shall we seek the law? Or who will distinguish for us between death and life? And I said unto them, The throne of the mighty one I cannot resist. Nevertheless, there shall not be wanting to Israel a wise man, nor a son of the law to the race of Jacob. But only prepare you your hearts, that you may obey the law, and be subject to those who in fear are wise and understanding, and prepare your souls, that you may not depart from them. For if you do these things, good tidings shall come unto you, which I before told you of, nor shall you fall into torment, of which I testified to you before. But with regard to the word that I was be taken, I did not make it known to them or to my son. And when I had gone forth and dismissed them, I went there and said unto them, Behold, I go to Hebron, for thither the mighty one has sent me. And I came to that place where the word has been spoken unto me, and I sat there and fasted 7 days. Chapter 48, this is the prayer of Baruch. And it came to pass after the 7th day that I prayed before the mighty one and said, O my Lord, you summon the advent of the times, and they stand before you. You cause the power of the ages to pass away, and they do not resist you. You arrange the method of the seasons, and they obey you. You alone know the duration of the generations, and you reveal not your mysteries to many. You make known the multitude of the fire, and you weigh the lightness of the wind. You explore the limit of the heights, and you scrutinize the depths of the darkness. You care for the number which pass away, that they may be preserved, and you prepare an abode for those that are to be. You remember the beginning which you have made, and the destruction that is to be you forget not. With nods of fear and indignation you command the flames, and they change into spirits. And with a word you quicken that which was not, and with mighty power you hold that which has not yet come. You instruct created things in understanding of you, and you make wise the spirits so as to minister in their orders. Armies innumerable stand before you, and minister in their orders quietly at your nod. Hear your servant, and give ear to my petition. For in a little time are we born, and in a little time do we return. But with you hours are as a time, and days as a generation. Be not therefore wroth with man, for he is nothing, and take not account of our works. For what are we? For lo, by your gift do we come into the world, and we depart not of our own will. For we said not to our parents, Begot us, nor did we send to Sheol and say, Receive us. What therefore is our strength, that we should bear your wrath? Or what are we that should endure your judgment? Protect us in your compassions, and in your mercy help us. Behold the little ones that are subject unto us, and save all that draw near unto you. And destroy not the hope of our people, and cut not short the times of our aid. For this is the nation which you have chosen, and these are the people to whom you find no equal. But I will speak now before you, and I will say as my heart thinks. In you do we trust, for lo, your law is with us, and we know that we shall not fall so long as we keep your statutes. To all time are we blessed, at all events in this, that we have not mingled with the Gentiles. For we are all one celebrated people, who have received one law from one. And the law which is amongst us will aid us, and the surpassing wisdom which is in us will help us. And when I had prayed and said these things, I was greatly weakened. And he answered and said unto me, You have prayed simple, O Baruch, and all your words have been heard. But my judgment exacts its own, and my law exacts its rights. For from your words I will answer you, and from your prayer I will speak to you. For this is as follows: He that is corrupted is not at all. He has both wrought iniquity, so far as lie could do nothing, and has not remembered my goodness, nor accepted my long suffering. Therefore you shall surely be taken up, as I before told you. For that time shall arise when it brings affliction. For it shall come and pass by with quick vehemence, and it shall be turbulent, coming in the heat of indignation. And it shall come to pass in those days that all the inhabitants of the earth shall be moved one against another, because they know not that my judgment has drawn nigh. For there shall not be found many wise at that time, and the intellect shall be but a few. Moreover, even those who know shall most of all be silent, and there shall be many rumors and tongues, not a few. And the doing of phantasms shall be manifested, and promises not a few to be recounted. Some of them shall prove idle, and some of them shall be confirmed, and honor shall be turned into shame, strength humiliated into contempt, and probity destroyed, and beauty shall become ugliness, and many shall say to many at that time, where has the multitude of intelligence hidden itself? And whether has the multitude of wisdom removed itself? And whilst they are meditating these things, then envy shall arise in those who had not thought out of themselves, and passion shall seize him that is peaceful, and many shall be stirred up in anger to injure many, and they shall rouse up armies in order to shed blood, and in the end they shall perish together with them. And it shall come to pass at the self same time, that a change of times shall manifestly appeal to every man, because in all those times they polluted themselves, and they practiced oppression, and walked every man his own works, and remembered not the law of the Mighty One. Therefore a fire shall consume their thoughts, and the flame shall the meditations of their reins be tried. For the judge shall come and will not tarry, because each of the inhabitants of the earth knew when he was transgressing. But my law they knew not by reason of their pride. But many shall then assuredly weep, yea, over the living more than over the dead. And I answered and said, Adam, what have you done to all those who are born from you? And that's exactly what's going on in the world. Try to talk to people at work, they just laugh. Oh, whatever, bro. It's all good. And what will be said to the first Eve who hearkened to the serpent? For all this multitude are going to corruption, nor is there any numbering of those whom the fire devours. But again I will speak in your presence. You, O Lord, my Lord, know what is in your creature, for you did of old command the dust to produce Adam, and you know the number of those who are born from him, and how far they have sinned before you, who existed and not confessed you as their creator. And as regards all these, their end shall convict them, and your law which they have transgressed shall requite them on your day. All right, chapter 48, fragment of an address of Baruch to the people. But now let us dismiss the wicked and inquire about the righteous. And I will recount their blessedness, and not be silent in celebrating their glory, which is reserved for them. For assuredly, as in a little time in this transitory world in which you live, you have endured much labor. So in that world to which there is no end, you shall receive great light. Chapter 49. The nature of the resurrection body, the final destinies of the righteous and the wicked. Nevertheless, I will again ask from you, Almighty One. Yea, I will ask, made all things. In what shape will those live who live in your day? Or how will the splendor of those who are after that time continue? 1 second, guys. This is a long book. I might not read it all day, but I probably won't actually. Will they then resume the form of its present and put on these exterminating members, which are now involved in evils, and in which evils are consumed? Or will you perchance change these things which have been in the world, as also the world? And he answered and said unto me, Hear, Baruch, this word, and write in the remembrance of your heart all that you shall learn. For the earth shall then assuredly restore the dead, which it now receives in order to preserve them. It shall make no change in their form, But as it has received, so shall it restore them. And as I deliver them unto you, so also shall it raise them. For then it will be necessary to show the living that the dead have come to life again, and that those who had departed have returned again. And it shall come to pass, when they have severely recognized those whom they now know, then judgment shall grow strong, and those things which before were spoken of shall come. And it shall come to pass, when that appointed day has gone by, that then shall the aspect of those who are condemned be afterwards changed, and the glories of those who are justified. For the aspect of those who now act wickedly shall become worse than it is, as they shall suffer torment. Also as for the glory of those who have now been justified in my law, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom, then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form of their face shall be turned into the light of their beauty, that they may be able to acquire and receive the world which does not die, which is then promised to them. For over this above, all shall those who come then lament, that they rejected my law and stopped their ears, that they might not hear wisdom or receive understanding. That's the world's problem right now. When therefore they see those over whom they are now exalted, but who shall then be exalted and glorified more than they? They shall respectively be transmitted, the latter into the splendor of angels, and the former shall yet more waste away in wonder at the visions and the beholdings of the forms. For they shall first behold and afterwards depart to be tormented. But those who have been saved by their works, and to whom the law has been now a hope, and understanding and expectation, and wisdom a confidence, shall wonders appear in their time. For they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them. And time shall no longer age them, for in the heights of that world shall they dwell. And they shall be made like unto the angels, and be made equal to the stars. And they shall be changed into every form they desire, from beauty into loveliness, and from light into the splendor of glory. For there shall be spread before them the extents of paradise, and there shall be shown to them the beauty of the majesty of the living creatures which are beneath the throne, and all the armies of the angels who are now held fast by my word, lest they should appear, and are held fast by a command, that they may stand in their places till their advent comes. Moreover, there shall then be excellency in the righteousness surpassing that in the angels, for the first shall receive the last, those whom they were expecting, and the last those of whom they used to hear that they had passed away. For they had been delivered from this world of tribulation, and laid down the burthen of anguish. For when then had men lost their life? And for what have those who were on the earth exchanged their soul? For then they chose not for themselves this time, which beyond the reach of anguish could not pass away, but they chose for themselves that time, whose issues are full of lamentations and evils. And they denied the world, which ages not those who come to it. And they rejected the time of glory, so that they shall not come to the honor of which I told you before. And I answered and said, how can we forget those for whom woe is then reserved? And why therefore do we again mourn for those who die? Or why do we weep for those who depart to Sheol? Let lamentations be reserved for the beginning of that coming torment, and let tears be laid up for that advent of the destruction of that time. But even in the face of these things will I speak. And as for the righteous, what will they do now? Rejoice you in the suffering which you now suffer. For why do you look for the decline of your enemies? Make ready your soul for that which is reserved for you, and prepare your souls for the reward which is laid up for you. All right, so you got chapter 53 is next, the Messiah Apocalypse, which should be interesting. But this book here has got about 20 more pages, so I think I'm going to stop now. It's been 45 minutes. Wow, this is long. I haven't obviously read all this. But yeah, this is the next one. And this is the book again, guys. If you're interested, go check it out. You can buy it from Zen, or you can get it online for free. But if you go to Zen's channel, you can check out what he has there and send him a little money. He helps a lot of good people all around the world. So yeah, I mean, you can, all these books we read, I read, everybody else reads. It's all about living right and following God's commandments. Staying in His Word, just obeying God all day, every day. So I hope you all have a blessed night. I didn't have much time because now I'm back to work, but I'll try to get some more videos out this week. All right, y'all have a blessed night. Yeah, have a blessed night, guys. Take care.